What should multifamily maintenance training look like in 2023? Give us like a brief description, the ideal type of training, what it would look like.
Right now, we have training is a challenging thing. Not what do we need to teach? That's quite frankly, that's easy. You plunge a toilet the same way, whether your property is in California, Georgia, Washington State, or Maine, or Texas, anywhere. You plunge a toilet the same way, all of them. So the physical skills, that is the easy thing to figure out. That's the easy part. The more challenging thing is how do we get that information into our students, our technicians across the board in our industry in a usable format. Right now, the quick answer that everyone is using, even everyone, even my organization, and I believe it has a place, is e-learning. There are a couple of very large companies that only do e-learning, and yet that's only a part of the solution. And in order to get there, there is such a challenge to get to the e-learning solution. It's not hitting our maintenance technicians with the results that we want to see. The biggest thing for the past, being in a learning capacity since 2005, the largest number one ask by all levels, both students and regionals and corporate and property managers at every level, is we need hands-on training. That is such a loaded term. We need that, but what I'm seeing is that there's such a challenge or an opportunity with fundamentals, the fundamental skills that are just not being picked up through e-learning, that hands-on training actually has to begin with that basic skills. So you have to spend time in class going over the foundational material to get to the hands-on place. An electrical training class, for instance, instead of spending time teaching how to physically use a multimeter, you have to start with what is electricity, where does it come from, what is a volt, what is an amp, what is an ohm, without getting bogged down in all the mathematics, just in an operational level. So that means that the hands-on class begins with brain work, classroom work, definitions, cognition, understanding that before you can get to the hands-on part, which I agree, that's the fun stuff. I love teaching that stuff. Students love interacting with that, but without that foundational knowledge that is it's available as e-learning content, but our technicians are not picking it up. There are exceptions, of course, there always is. And the reason why I'm going down this pathway is our leaders, when our students go back to their properties, and I had this discussion at the Texas Apartment Association conference this year quite a bit, that when our students go back, when technicians go back to their leaders want to know, wait, you spent 8 hours in class, and yet you were only actually doing hands-on for maybe the last 2 or 3 hours? Yeah. Why? We want hands-on training, and you stood up there and gave them a PowerPoint, or they sat for a PowerPoint. Why? I can put a meter, I can give anybody a meter and an outlet, and we can do insert tab A into slot B type training, but without that foundational background, all we're going to continue to have is parts changers. So what that means is, and this is a long-winded way to get to the answer, there has to be understanding of what the process is across the board, and it is not going to be like this. That means there has to be more time, and that's where that with them part comes in all across the board. We have to have our students come to class understanding that, look, before you get here, either you do the work, spend the time online, and we as an organization ensure you have the time to spend it online. Then you come to class already having that foundation. We go through exercises in a classroom environment. Then when you get back to your community, you practice in the same way that you were shown in the classroom, not best shortcut wins, but you practice the correct repair. And there is that feedback loop of the fact of, now that you learned this skill A, now we can build on that with skill B, referencing back to skill A. So again, it's not a quick fix. We have to have that cognitive thing all across the board, all while understanding that we've got to be faster. So how do we solve it? Wave a magic wand? Step by step at all levels. And that is bigger than just waving a magic wand. There are multiple wands and multiple drivers that go into place for that.